Namaste. Hello and welcome to the Kundalini podcast. That was Zen. This is Tao. I'm Vivek Govekar. I'm sorry I've been inactive on YouTube and haven't left a video for a long time. Again, a bunch of different things in life, especially coping with the awakening and having to deal with regular mundane reality is all difficult. It all becomes overwhelming sometimes. But things are much better, and thought I'd make a video. So, just going to talk about some random topics, some of the comments I have received, some things that are essential, and just some experiences that I've had over the period of the last couple of months and also the last few years. So, some of the things that I'm doing right now are I had to go out and get a job because financially it was becoming difficult to stay at home and just do stock market and stuff like that. I needed a steady income. And fortunately, because the Kundalini awakening process has stabilized and I have used methods to make myself assimilate that energy better, it becomes a lot easier now to go out and cope in society. And miraculously, it is actually a much better version of myself. So there was a period where the first 3, 4, 5 years of my awakening, which was extremely chaotic, lots of strife and changes in my personal life, my relationship, my behavior. And then it took some stabilizing, lots of new revelations, good things and bad things. But all of it was a cleansing. And I have a cleansing ritual. I have mentioned this before. I go according to the cycle of the seasons. So winter is between December 21st and March 21st. Now we're close to spring, so started to feel better again. This time, again, no depression, feeling much better, taking my supplements and doing my meditation and mindfulness has helped a lot. What I have discovered though, because it was a long break between the time where I went into isolation, just became a stay-at-home dad, did things from home, and didn't really go out and mix much with people outside. A lot of cobwebs had to be taken off, a lot of things, junk removed from my mind, which had formed because of those patterns that had formed. Those were helpful to assimilate the Kundalini process, but not really helpful when it came to readjusting to society. And I found a job. It's a customer service job. I'm a pharmacist. Also requires a lot of interaction with people. And it has become a very different me from a few years ago. It's like there is a distance between every aspect when you're talking to people, when you're connecting with people. There is a distance. You are at a separated stage and you're watching that interaction from a witness point of view. So that is a difference that I have noticed. Similarly, reactions like anxiety, frustration, anger, somebody saying something to you, all of that, there is a shield almost, which doesn't allow the worst stuff to penetrate. And I've mentioned all of this before in previous videos. There was another video where I mentioned the analogy of a peel, like a banana peel or an orange peel, where you're created a thick armor which kind of protects you, but the underlying problems are still there. So you are still suffering from some harshness that is coming your way. This time, it assimilates better. You don't take it very seriously. You've taken it very lightly. It doesn't form anything inside you or provoke a reaction. And at the same time, if it has penetrated a little bit, you can discard that easily and it goes away and you are in a much nicer place. So that day-to-day practice of mindfulness has come in very handy. Day-to-day practice of cleansing, removing everything, assessing what you have done, correcting course, and then getting better. All of that was needed for the real self to be out in the world without the old baggage, old patterns, old habits, and any kind of resentment, jealousy, feelings of inferiority, lack. I'm very comfortable being myself at this point and very comfortable enjoying life and yet dealing with day-to-day activities. So it has been a good thing. Unfortunately, then I don't get much time to make videos and that routine has been a little lacking. So now I have come back to make one more video. That's the good news. I do intend to still write books. Now actually I can do more things because I'm out in the world and not being bombarded by thoughts, bombarded by all of this and trying to hide this thing that I was having. Oh, Kundalini, what's this? What will people say? It's just easy. You assimilate. You're a better version of yourself. And yet you can function and perform tasks. In fact, now you can do them better because all the other baggage is not there. Nothing is dragging you down. Nothing is taking your energy away from you. You know how to deal with things. You can see things coming at you and know how to, disregard something or deal with it and find a resolution for it so it doesn't keep becoming a repetitive problem in your life. I got a few questions about people. Someone asked me about insomnia related to Kundalini, the process, and asked me to speak about that. So I'm going to speak a little bit about that. Yes, your entire cycle tends to get shaken up. Sometimes you're up at night, sometimes you sleep in the daytime, you're very lethargic sometimes. The basic advice I'll give you is, along with assimilating the energy, going along with what it is doing to you, you have to find supplements that keep you healthy. Vitamins, antioxidants, everything on the Biology of Kundalini website. Very helpful. Melatonin is a good natural hormone supplement that is extremely good at regulating the sleep cycle. It is not a sedative per se, but it will regulate your sleep cycle. So you take one just before bed and it will regulate that. So you take it as needed and then you have a cycle. Having a routine which involves exercise as and when your back allows you, your energy allows you, and how you can do it, how you can perform those exercises, and getting to a stage where you are exhausted enough will lead to a good sleep cycle. That is a standard answer to any sleep problems, is getting enough activity, not having caffeine in your diet, things like that. Also remember that if you have too much junk in your mind and that is keeping you up because of anxiety, thoughts, then just the general meditation practices, affirmations, sleeping with headphones on, and just before you go to sleep putting the affirmation videos on. I've mentioned this before. A YouTube channel called Paul Santisi is the name of the person, and he has these 3D affirmations which are very helpful. What else? Yes, those are some general guidelines for a regulated sleep cycle, and generally to keep your body healthy as you're going through the Kundalini process. Other things to talk about. Well, the process is ongoing. I have this thing in my back and I have to adjust it when I'm going to work. Fortunately, in my job, I don't have situations where I'm lifting heavy stuff or doing things where that would actively hurt my back, but just the stress of doing it sometimes makes it more difficult to cope with it. But much better, and not at all as bad and severe as it was 5 years ago or before that. Now I can be a so-called normal person, be outside, not just see divine visions, cope with my skills, abilities, newfound self, and yet function in the outside reality without being a part of it, without being influenced by it in a negative way. So those are all blessings. I thank God every single day for that. Having that approach of gratitude, going through life, following these principles that you have now learned because of the Kundalini process, and using them in day-to-day activities, not going into temptation, whatever your temptation might be, not getting carried away, and then bringing yourself back to that centered state, is a constant process. It's a constant journey. As I have said in other videos, it's not a separate life that is your spiritual life and a separate outside practical reality. What you do there in the spiritual life is supposed to make this better. Otherwise, that whatever spiritual practice you follow is useless. Similarly, the lessons you have learned in your practical life should make your spiritual life better. It's like, oh, now I'm at a higher level. Previously, I was such and such a person, and look how much cleansing I'm done, without allowing a spiritual ego to form, or without being too rigid, incorporating the lessons learned from everyday life. You don't learn everything without having more encounters, meeting more people, and each one of them becomes a teaching tool, a lesson, so you can carry this further, and it enriches your spiritual practice. And your spiritual practice training, almost like a martial arts training of mindfulness, helps you cope with any stress, any anxiety that you're going through. So everything is one. All parts of the same, all different aspects of the same oneness, and you are slowly awakening to that, and you're slowly bringing about this inner change into the outside world through your actions, through your being. Another thing that I've observed lately is, because of so much strife that is going on in the world right now, political strife, changes, it comes in very handy to be grounded in your reality. Okay, the task at hand, being in the moment, doing what you can to change your life, and that changes the reality around you. Whether you think it makes a big impact or not, doesn't matter. Just you and your presence and having people watch it, learn from you. It is immediately obvious when they encounter a spiritual person that, oh, something is different about this guy. Something is slightly, something that I can learn, something that I can take. And that happens automatically. You don't have to tell them, hey, do this or do that. So just your presence makes a difference. That's how you can bring about change in the world. It happens automatically, not with an agenda where you're going out to change the world. So making a spiritual transformation, and I'm telling you the aftermath of about 10 years of practice, assimilating the energy, and how it eventually sets up these upward spirals, because now you're not involved in negative actions. Now you're not doing something stupid that is not useful to your spiritual growth and material growth. It is all a journey. You cannot lose patience, and you have to understand that things take their own time, and only do your best based on the tools that you have been given. Okay, so that is some of the things that I've learned now that there has been a change in my life, and I'm not just isolated staying at home. I'm now in the outside world, but bringing all of this new me, the new Vivek, not the old guy, the cleansed Vivek, and following all the same patterns that I was doing, listening to mantras, doing affirmations, using my practices, but now adjusted to whatever outside schedule I have. So all of that is going to make you a better you. Your job is to focus on your karma, not add to bad karma, and create upward cycles that only benefit you and don't bring any bad rewards into your life. For example, if you had a habit of being, critical of people, what's that going to do? People are going to say, oh, I don't like this guy too much. I don't like this person working with me. But you have a positive reinforcement method. For that, you have to change your mindset that people are bad. You are just projecting yourself out. Something lacking in your life, or a feeling that you're lacking something, feeling inferior, you see in the outside world. It's not those people. You don't know how they really are without those filters and your conditioning judging them. Now that judgment is gone. Now I see everybody as a human being who, is part of the divine, has the divine in them as their soul. And if you don't get along with them, find a way to adjust. But you have to accept everything as it is, without your judgments, color, criticism. And suddenly everybody is your friend. Suddenly you have fewer interactions where you felt sad about that, or you expected something and it didn't happen. You don't have any expectations. A lot of these interpersonal relationships that were negative or ugly, and I've mentioned this in the past in other videos, energy vampires and other videos, go away, revealing you a new perspective at looking at people. That's the advantage of having a spiritual process where you have cleared your mind, cleanse yourself, cleanse the lens, clean the lens, so the outside world looks better. Don't go to change the world. Change yourself and the world will look better. And then whatever you are as a changed person will affect people and influence them anyway. So that's a little bit about my journey and where I'm at right now after a long break. I promise I will make more frequent videos, but I'm glad to be making this video. I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you for watching. Namaste.